Hey guys, it's Jen. I had a couple responses, people asking for a tutorial on my ink pad and distress stain storage system. So I thought I would try to put a quick video together on how you can do that. There's a couple different ways that you can do it. One is by completely just starting with pieces of cardboard and totally assembling it, or starting with something like a base, like a Capri Sun box will work great. Another thing that works really well too is these medium flat rate boxes. They work really good too to make storage. So I thought if I get time, I'm going to try to show you all three ways that you can do it. These storage boxes are awesome. You can use them for so many different things. I make magazine folders out of them. I store all kinds of stuff in my leftover flat rate boxes because I tend to get a lot of these in the mail. So, okay, the first way I'm going to show you is cardboard. Now, this is just kind of starting with like a foot length, but you can also go 2 feet at a time. You could go 6 inches. It just depends on how you want to do it. So what I started out to make just a 1 foot section is, this is going to be your back panel. It's 12 by 4, and I just cut it out of cardboard. Here's a leftover piece of tape from a box. This is from a box that I had received in the mail. Then you're going to need your 2 side panels, and they're 12 by 3 inches. And then you're going to need your top piece and your bottom piece, and they're both 4 by 3, and that'll go top and bottom. And then your panels, which will be 6 3/4 by 2 3/4, and this is what your ink pads are going to lay on. So let's get started. Basically, you just want to take your back panel and one of your side panels is what we're going to start with, and we're just going to hot glue them together. And then just hold it together for a second, let that kind of set up, and then we'll keep going with the hot glue. Definitely starting with complete scraps of cardboard does take a little bit more time. Oh, I still have some glitter glue in this glue gun. I was working with glitter glue sticks, and I didn't realize I still had some in, but that's okay because you can either paint this with acrylic paint or spray paint. I like to use spray paint just because it's a lot faster when trying to cover the cardboard. And this is what takes the most time, is just kind of holding it for a second for that glue to set up. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and glue on our second side panel. Make sure you get a lot of glue on there, because if you don't, it's not going to be very sturdy. Make sure. Okay, I'm setting that up. Okay. Just make sure it looks like it's straight. Okay. And then I'm just going to run a bead of hot glue along the inside. Give a little extra strength. Okay, now we're going to do our top panels. cut these in a hurry, so they're not completely, like I'd have to go and trim that up later. And I'm just going to put glue along the top piece, the 4x3 piece. Okay, we're going to go ahead and attach that to our box. Now our bottom piece. Oh, it's stuck to my table. Huh. Okay, there we go. It's unstuck. Okay, so that is your base for one. And what I did is I made several and I just attached them along. But there's our base. Okay, for the inside panels, what we're going to do is, make sure I get my measurements. Okay, we're going to measure in 1.5 inches. So that's going to give our spacing in between each ink pad. You'll have a 1.5 inch gap if you want it smaller or wider. Or let's say you had some other stamp pads besides the distress stamp pads and that you need a wider one, just make your back panel wider. So it'll fit whatever dimensions you need it to be. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to measure in 1.5 inches and I'm going to mark it with a pencil. Let me see if I can get in camera there. I'll do the other side. Go in 1.5 inches, mark it with a pencil. Okay, then what you're going to do is lay your ruler and kind of fold it over the edge of the ruler like that. So you're going to get that angle. You're going to do it on the other side. Lay it flat up against your pencil, mark it 1.5 inches, and just bend it. That's going to give you your shelf. And then what you do is just put some hot glue, and then we're going to stick it in there like that. That's our first shelf. And then you can see how your stamp will fit in, your stamp pad will fit in there. So as I said, I designed this to fit the distress inks. And then here's my distress stains. I put in like that. Well, actually I put them in like that. What I did is I just punched out a flower, stuck it on the top, and put the die on the top so I could see what colors were in there. And you can fit 3 of those distress stains in there. Or, like, I stick my perfect pearls in there too. Or you could do that with your stickles. So that, I'll do one more shelf just to show you real quick on how to do that. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to measure in at 1.5. We're going to measure in at 1.5. Fold, fold, and stick it in. And now we have 2 shelves. And then you're just going to want to continue the same process all the way up to the top. If you want less of a gap, like I have a little extra room here, you could just maybe measure up 1 3/4 on the side. But just take off, let me explain that better. What you'd want to do is measure across. So we have 4 inches across, and then just add 1 1/4, 1 1/4 on each side for your total length, and then just fold it in. I hope I explained that well. It's kind of hard for me to explain it, but that's what I did, starting from just plain pieces of cardboard. And this will be pretty sturdy. What I would do if I did it exactly this way, I would probably take some duct tape, whatever color you have, and I would just run it along the edges to reinforce it, to give it just a little bit more strength from doing it this style. Okay, the second way, Capri Sun box. What I did is this box is 5 3/4 across. So what I did is I went in at I think it was 2 7/8. Yep, I went in at 2 7/8 all the way down, and I ran a line because that'll divide this box in half. I did it on all sides of our box. So what we're going to do with this, because this box is open, my kids have used all the Capri Sun, I'm going to kind of go ahead and close this shut. Now Julie Waters does a lot of amazing tutorials on using Capri Sun boxes for storage. She has a lot of really neat ideas for marker storage and different things. Okay, so once that's sealed down, we're going to want to take any kind of knife, like a craft knife. Just be careful because you don't want to get cut. And we're just going to cut along those lines that we drew. Here, I'm going to have to stand up for this. Okay, now we have 2 halves. I'm going to trim this piece off there. And one of my ends popped open. It wasn't glued down well enough. So I'm going to reseal that. Looks like this one didn't seal well either. I need more glue. Okay. Okay. Now I didn't prepare any pieces to do this one ahead of time, so that way you guys could see the process of how I figured out the dimensions for the shelf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure across, and we have, looks like about 3.5 inches. Let me measure this side better. Would be the inside, would be 3.5 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need 3.5 inches, and then I want my shelf to be 1.5 inches, so I need to add another 3 inches. So 6.5 inches is what I need to make by, would be the length, and then the width would need to be about 2 3/4. Okay, so I'm just going to measure in 2 3/4. Two 2 3/4. 2 3/4, and then I'm going to draw a line. Okay. Now I'm just going to cut right along that line. I think my blade is getting dull. It's not cutting well at all today. Here, we're just going to use the scissors. Okay. And then we're going to measure it 6.5 inches. Okay, we're just going to cut that. Okay, then we're going to measure in again at 1.5 inches. An 1.5 inches. Fold. Fold. Let's see if I did it right, if it fits in there nice. Yep. What I'm going to have to do is, because there's this opening here in the Capri Sun box, so I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of duct tape at the bottom. That'll strengthen that up and it won't open and move. Okay, now our shelf fits in there. We just have to glue that down. Press along the sides so that glue sets up nice. And there's our shelf. And then we want to continue it all the way up. See, that fits in there with a lot of extra room. I could have actually made the shelves a little bit shorter if I wanted to. Let me make one more. Let's do it this way. Okay, 2 3/4. 2 3/4. 2 3/4. Okay, so we're going to need the length at 6.5 inches. We're going to cut that off. We're going to go in at 1.5 inches and mark it. Mark it, fold it, fold it. once that gets set up, you want to put duct tape across the top here too for the Capri Sun box because it opens a little. So then what you do is after you finish this one all the way up and you finish this one all the way up, what I did is I hot glued them together. And then however long you want to, how many extensions you want to make it, or you could go this way with it and make one long one, just glue them together. And then I'll show you what, let me go see if I can find them. Okay, I'm back. This is what I use to adhere these to the wall. They're called Command Brand damage-free hanging picture frame hanging tabs. And what these are is they're like almost like a Velcro, and they lock in together like this. And what I did is, I think I had 3 rows. I stuck one here, like one down here, and up here, and one at the bottom after I had 3 of them together. And then you just peel this off. You peel each side off and you just press them right into the wall, and they really hold really strong. Let's say the flat rate mailer. What I would do is I would assemble the box. I would measure in, let's say, 3 inches and cut it here, and then do it on the other side as well, and then cut it, and you could have 2 pre-made shelves this way, because these are also, let me see, these are 3.5 inches wide, so you just have to adjust your shelf measurements for the width, because it is a 1/2 inch wider than the Capri Sun box would be. So I hope this helps. I hope I gave a clear demonstration on how I put all this together. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I'll get right back to you if I wasn't clear on some part of the process. But I really like it, and it's very cheap. I mean, all you've probably got is some spray paint or some paint to cover up the cardboard so it doesn't look like cardboard when you're done. And it's a lot cheaper than other systems. And then it's custom designed to fit your exact stamp pad storage or any other pieces that you have, because I like to lay my stamp pads flat, upside down, so that the ink stays right there on the surface of the pad, and it just really seems to work. And then I can see what color I have, grab it right off the shelf. So, well, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.